why do you think the issue about LGBTQ and all these things is not being, they are trying so hard to bring it to Africa, but it's not like the sensitization is not going down well, because the average African is not going on well. The average African is a very masculine guy. Every average African guy understands the basic principle of family values.
The following is with Idris, a brother from Ghana. And there is somebody with a strong opinion, and that is why I invited him today. So we're going to have a chat with us on the problem that we face on a daily basis as Africans living all over the world, our politics, our relationships, socially, how we do everything. We're going to discuss at the end today. Idris, come to.
Thank you, bro.
So can you tell us about you?
Oh, well, like you said, Idris Amin is my name. And actually being here in Dubai, I work in Emirates Sky Cargo, Emirates Airlines, and I've been here for, I think, 3.5 years now. And basically, this is me, and I'm actually very glad to be on your show today. So before we set the premise, I would just like to say, sometimes the things that we are going to say will not be pleasant to some people. So they need to tolerate people's opinions, and also I will encourage people to also think about the things we say. If you think it makes sense to you, you can actually take a word or two from it. If you think it doesn't make sense, or you think you disagree with us, you're free to disagree with us and also make your opinion out of it. So basically, this is what I'll say, and I'm very glad to be on your show too.
Yeah, it's beautiful to have you to this.
Yeah,
I will start by asking you if Idris just arrived to UAE today, what is the one thing you think that, okay, I've done this? If I have known this way, I've done it this way?
Okay, so basically, first of all, what I will say is I'm going to generalize this question in particular. If you come here in Dubai, or I'll put myself in that shoe, or I'll put myself in the shoe, but I'm going to generalize the answer. If I come here in Dubai for the first time, there are some kind of perceptions that are going to go on, in minds of people.
The knowledge you have.
Yes.
Yeah. What is it that you did before with the knowledge you have now? You say, no, I will not do this. With this knowledge I have now, I will do it this way.
Yes. So like I'm saying, when you get here in Dubai, first of all, there are going to be a lot of things that are going to go through your mind, how to maneuver your ways and how to get yourself better and all, right? Yeah. So first of all, I will say I don't have to rush into getting myself into certain things, especially when I start seeing people talk about certain things and all. If you put yourself in that situation and rush into, following these people following their footsteps in what they're telling you, you're actually going to fail. So when you get here, you need to be very patient and very careful, and taking your steps one at a time. Once you are able to establish this point carefully, you will then know how to take the next move. You understand? But if you're going to rush yourself, or if you're going to rush and putting yourself in what these people are going to say, you are going to fail. You understand? So I'm not saying I did that, but I nearly fell into that trap when I got here, when I got to UAE the first time. I nearly fell in the trap of people actually manipulating you into believing that what they were doing was the right thing. But, I was very convinced of what I want to achieve in terms of my perspective and what the goals I've set for myself. Once I discovered my purpose, why I'm coming into Dubai, I did not allow myself to fall into that trap. So I stick to my plan, and this is where I got into.
You've stayed in Dubai. You've been in Dubai for like 3 years.
Yes, almost 4 years now.
And you have a basic understanding on how they govern here.
Yes. I would say the issue about governance in Dubai, I would say it's one of the premium, though people do not I know a lot of people actually do not subscribe to the way of governance here in Dubai. For example, in Dubai, things about propagating, to propagate certain stuffs are not allowed. They are being restricted and all, right? So things like this are not inclined with a lot of people, especially people from the West and people who believe in, diverse opinions. But you need to understand their point of view. This is law, right? And this is a country on its own. So once you understand these things, you are going to be able to live in the country very peacefully, because everybody has the right to do whatever they want to do, unless until you actually usurp into someone's right.
No.
So if you are not going to cross that boundary and you're going to stay within your lane, I believe things are going to go on properly with you. So for issue about governance here in Dubai, my own personal opinion, I would say it is one of the premium, because they've discovered this. They've discovered that this is the way they want to go, and it's actually helping them. And I've never seen throughout my, let me say, 4 years in Dubai, I've not met anyone in Dubai who thinks like their governance is not helping them. And unless the people who actually go out of the country, people who were trained outside the country, these are the people who feel like they are being oppressed and all.
Locals.
The locals and people who have stayed here for that long. Yeah. Apart from that, I don't think like people would complain that much about the issue about governance in Dubai, because
why I ask this question, because what they do in Nigeria,
yes,
compare UAE and Nigeria. What they do in Nigeria is regional politics.
Yes.
They are using divide. Most of the politics is dividing what we want. What we want is not about what the country wants.
Yes.
And what the citizens want, right? Like that in Nigeria, there's nothing like basic need.
Yes.
You understand? And the presidency rotates.
Yes.
So what they do is, when it gets to your turn, you put your people on, they siphon whatever they can.
Yes.
And put in your pocket, and nothing again works.
Yeah.
But here in UAE, it's been only one person, right? I'm talking about Dubai shit.
Yes.
It's been only one person, and everything is working fine.
Yes.
Roads, lights, security, everything. The security is there.
Yes. So that's why I'm saying that, you see, the issue about governance here, this is the standard they've adopted for themselves.
Yeah.
And this standard is helping them. Honestly, this standard is helping them a lot. And the people in Dubai have actually accepted that this is their reality. They are not complaining about it. Why? Because the system of governance is actually serving them right.
Yeah.
You understand? And the people, the leaders who lead them, is something which they've adopted also for a very long time. And they've mastered the act of governing the country with that philosophy. Yeah. You understand? So for example, to elect a leader, they know it's a family tree issue. They have a council which elects their leaders, and there is a very clear, structured way to elect these leaders without going into these chaotic, circumstances to try and elect these leaders. And mind you, these leaders they've adopted the country also as their property.
Yes.
You understand? They took the country as their property. Anything that, if the country goes well, it is on them. Yes. If the country does not go well, it is also on them. Mm-hmm. So assuming your parents will a property to you, this is your house. Yeah. I will this house to you. Are you going to sit down to allow this house deteriorate? No, it's going to come on you, right? So you've taken this country as your property, and make sure that the welfare of the country is very premium to you. Unlike our people back home who, subscribe to democratic governance and all. Someone like me sitting here from nowhere, I can rise to that point of contesting an election, win the presidency. I win the presidency as a novel. The country, whether I have the country at heart or not, it doesn't matter. I am in power. I'm going to do things that suits me and not the country. Yeah. But these people, they are practicing a completely different scheme. And this scheme is helping them. They've took the country as their property. They are serving the country properly. And the people in the country are also liking the system. You understand? That is why they impose certain rules, like, for example, to propagate. in a democratic system, that is where these issues about propagation, if you feel like there is something going wrong, you don't like, you have the right to propagate and all. Here, it doesn't work like that. For example, if you go to these GCC countries, almost all these countries are practicing the same system of governance. If you go to Qatar, there is, I don't know for Dubai, but I think they should also have, they have ministers for example, happiness.
Yes.
If you think you are not happy or anything, these are the channels you can go through, and, vent your grievances to these ministries, and they are going to take care of it. You understand? So these governance have been adopted by the people, and they like it. And it is serving them properly. Everything is going on well. Their roads are being constructed. Their schools are premium. Their hospitals are nice. Their security is one of the best I've ever seen. Yes. So that is basically, honestly, from my point of view, we also need to, people in Africa also need to understand our terrain and also start adopting things that actually suit us. If democracy is not something that suits us, we need to start moving away from it, and start looking for a system of governance that is going to serve our people.
When I was thinking the other day, sometimes I said, I don't think how is it possible that UAE is this well-governed, there is no security issue? So I was thinking like this because everybody knows that America knows how to fuck up something.
Yes.
They will sponsor one thing somewhere and it will happen that way. So I get to think, how is it that these GCC countries are just okay? Is it that from the back, they are lobbying American government, or there are dues that they are paying? You guys should just stay off our back, cause
no, that is the first thing I was addressing, that they've adopted the system of governance. Anywhere there is a democratic governance, these chaotic scenes are going to be there. That is where there is a tendency of someone sponsoring a candidate or a party, to cause some kind of chaotic scenes in a country. Democratic governance actually, in my opinion, personal opinion, it destabilizes countries. It destabilizes countries, even though there could be a very sustained democracy in whatsoever, but it's a means, for people to actually usurp certain powers, and it would destabilize the country.
Also know how to sponsor banditry, but
of course, when there is a democracy, that is where all these things happen.
Is it only democracy that causes all this chaos in nations?
Okay, so for UAE, a country like UAE, where they adopted this system of governance for a very long time, right? Once you adopt this kind of system, you are being groomed into it, and the people in the country have, they've also accepted the fact that we are all from the same family tree. And we've all adopted or accepted that this is the way we are going to go. Right. So once you accept that this is the way you are going to go, and don't mind you, when the system is actually serving its people, right? When the system of governance is actually serving the people, there is going to be very little, to propagate for. You understand? If the people who are in power are willing to serve the people, the people are happy, their schools are okay, their hospitals are good, their roads are fine, their standard of living is good, their unemployment is very less, then the tendency of people rising is going to be very minimal. You understand?
You see now, well, UK democracy, because UK democracy, if you listen to it according to how they wrote it, you will see that UK is very, America is very old. So the democracy can work at that place because they are already the people that put into the world. They know what they do.
Yes.
And again, all democracy in Nigeria and in Africa, nothing is working. The way of governance, everything, nothing is working. I just gave an example about how Nigeria practices regional politics, right? The new regional politics, right? So are you saying that because of how these people progress, Western politicians cannot cannot influence them. And they say for Africa to move forward, we need to live a democracy.
You see, the issue about African politics and democracy, actually, it's way deeper than what we think, For example, we've adopted democracy as our system, not because we want it, but because the people who actually set the rules for us set this standard for us to follow. And once we adopted this standard, there is going to be it actually goes way deeper. For example, if you go to Africa, our democratic system, is not working because, one, in Africa, you should understand that people are very tribalistic. We have a lot of, for example, if you come to UAE or GCC, issue about tribes are very less. These are Arabs.
Well, I will interject. I think being tribalistic is a good thing. I think it's a good thing, but it is how you use it.
Exactly. So that is where our democracy.
Trump is being tribalistic.
Yes.
Trump is being tribalistic because, in a sense, that he's putting America first.
His ideology, that's an ideology point of view.
Yeah.
That's an ideology. He has his ideology, yes. But in Africa, our system is completely different. That's why I said our democracy is way deeper, because our democracy, a lot of things affect the democracy. People from some sects actually, follow some parties and some factions because of where they come from and the kind of things, even if that function is not actually serving them right. As long as they come from that faction, they are going to support it. You see, so our democracy actually goes way deeper, and it's affecting us. It's affecting us, it's not serving us properly. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And again, it's not our fault. The people who actually started it, they imposed this philosophy on us, and we were forced to adopt it. Yeah. So what do we have to do? We need to actually sit down. Are we going to let go of these kind of things and accept the fact that we are all from this place?
That sit down is not, I don't think it is going to happen anytime soon.
It's not going to happen, but we have to start it. Like, there is a starting point to everything.
You know what I think? I think democracy gives room for lobbying.
Yes.
Lobbying, if you say lobbying, it looks like it's good. Democracy gives room for bragging.
Yes.
Lobbying is bragging.
Of course.
You understand? So so long as there is democracy in Africa and we've not understood what is going on, how we can actually do it,
yes,
we should put first what interest we should have in mind.
Yes.
There will always be room for lobbying.
Yes. So, see, we need to. You are right, actually. You are right on this topic very much. As long as there is democracy, this is the system of governance we've accepted. There are countries which they've practiced the democracy and it has served them properly. Like you gave an example of America. America practiced democracy, and so more than 200 years they've been practicing democracy. And at this point, this is one of the most powerful countries in the world. Their democracy served them. How did it serve them? Regardless of the party that comes into power, regardless of their political ideology, regardless of their tribal, whatever it is, they make sure they put the country first. The country is always first. For example, the issue about their geopolitical ideologies, whatever. So any political, whether it's a Democrat party that comes into power, whether it's whatever party comes into power, they are always going to think America first. So once this system is clearly spelled out, the country is going to move forward. But that is not what's going on in Africa. In Africa, the leaders are not putting the country first. It is politics as usual. They are going to lobby for like personal gains, things that they are going to get out of it.
Yeah, I will give you another example. Another example is since Nigeria started this democracy, Nigeria started practicing democracy.
Yes.
System has moved forward. Since 1999, Nigeria started practicing democracy. That's about 24 years. Right?
Yes.
What the system does, what Nigeria does is deterrent. Nothing happens. And if you want to check right now, since Ghana started practicing democracy, since a minute they gave up power, what has improved?
Sure. You see, that is self-interest. The self-interest is always ahead of the national interest.
So it means that democracy is actually useless in Africa.
In my opinion, I have never subscribed to anything democratic. I know that democracy, there is no democracy in anywhere. Even the people who claim they practice democracy, they are not practicing democracy. Yeah. That's not democracy. Democracy has never existed in the first place. It's just an illusion that people actually portray that this is democratic. No. For example, these Americans we are talking about, it's always their way or no way at all. Mm-hmm. You understand? Mm-hmm. It's always their way or no way at all. If we are going to practice democracy, why do we have constitutions and all? There is no democracy, but there should be a national interest.
Yes.
Once there is a national interest, parties can be changing and coming back. But there is a national interest which has been spelled out clearly. This is the way forward. This is where we want to go in the next 50 or 100 years. In UAE, there is that plan. In Saudi, we had Agenda 2030, whatever. This is the national interest. It has been spelled out. Even if this leader is not there, the next leader that comes, the policy they are going to formulate is going to be in line with the national interest. But that's not what is happening in Africa. In Africa, it is self-centered, themselves, the people who comes to power, like I put myself as an example. I can rise to power now, and I'm going to serve myself, my interest. Whatever this person does, I'm going to abandon it, start my own interest, and also propagate it in the next few years that I have in power. I'm going to leave power. The next person will also come and take another route. So we are always going back instead of going forward.
Yes.
So if you go to America, they have the national interest very clearly spelled out. National interest first is American first always. So this is where we want to go in the next 10 years. This is the plan. Whatever policy you want to do in that time period should be in line with the national interest. So for example, in 30 years, we want to go to the moon, right? How do you want to go to the moon? That is where the democratic issue comes in. Your idea is, I want to use this route to get to the moon. My idea is, I want to use the other way to get to the moon. We are all aiming at getting to the moon. That is the final destination. So once this moon is there, has been spelled out clearly as the national policy, both of us are going to bring ideas that is going to land us to the moon. In Africa, it doesn't work like that. Everyone is doing their own thing. Someone comes to power.
Because somebody is lobbying them.
Of course.
Somebody is lobbying them. Somebody is trying to come and say, this is very important.
Of course. You see, there is always that person who actually takes the shots.
Yeah.
If this person is going to take the shots, he is taking the shots on behalf of the people.
Yeah.
So the people who are leading us, are you going to allow these persons to be taking the shots, for their own personal gains? Everything that happens is for their own personal gains. Whoever is lobbying for his own personal gain. Whoever is sponsoring what is doing that for his own personal gains. And are you going to be stupid enough to sit there, allow these people to lobby, at the detriment of your people? That is why chaos and chaos is happening in Africa everywhere.
Yeah.
Because we are not serving our people at all. People in Africa are suffering because of self-interest of leaders. We are not putting.
It is not serving Africans.
To be honest, in my opinion, we should begin like young people. We should begin to look at the democratic system again. Yes, we need to start looking at it again.
Yeah.
Honestly, from my point of view, it's not helping us at all. There is some elements in the democratic system which we need to actually start getting rid of it.
Do you prefer, in your own opinion, do you think the military will be good or not? Military system.
Okay, so I will not belittle any point in terms for one, military governance. It can be good, cannot be good at the same time. If I say it's not good, I'm trying to say military people are not really intelligent enough to rule a nation, but some are very intelligent. You understand? So both sides can be correct, but I will not give a country to a military standard to rule. For monarch system will actually, in my opinion, personal opinion, a monarch system could be better off to Africans. But if you look at the how deep African has been polarized, like issues about tribes, issues about, it's going to be difficult for us to adopt this system. You understand?
Yeah.
For example, United Kingdom, they have a king now who is the ultimate leader of the nation, right?
Yeah.
Then they have a prime minister. You see, this prime minister oversees this issue about governance in the country, but they have ultimate, who is the prime minister, who is the monarch, the king of United Kingdom. Is that going to happen in Africa? It's not possible.
Well, Africa is not Africa is a continent.
Exactly. So even if whatever it is, even if we come together, even we are going to do it individual, yes,
In my lifetime,
it's not going to happen. Even if it's never going to happen. I don't think so.
You know that if we keep hold off, Nigeria will never move forward. Is democracy.
Yes.
With democracy, Nigeria will never move forward. Right?
Yes.
But again, power is too much. Now we don't know who is going to see Nigeria as, just like you said before, Nigeria is my property. So how can I maintain Nigeria? Because now I don't think there is somebody now who is well enough. Maybe there will be, but somebody who's well enough to say, I'm the only people that can install this will be military. We need to take over power. They say we need to go back to monarch system or, something.
Yes.
Like that. Because from my own opinion, and I have seen this, I have looked at developing nations in the world. If you ask me, I would say America right now is not moving.
Yeah. It's actually going back. Honestly, American system, America is actually going. America is a failed state, in my opinion. America is a failed state. Completely.
Failed state, but it's failing.
Completely. Things are not, they are actually portraying in the media, America is the most powerful state. I'm not.
Because of the entrepreneurs you have, because of the private business you have.
Correct.
You understand? Shooting to the walls. Because of the energies of individuals you have in America. So I don't see America as a failed state. It's failing because of Democrats.
Yes.
And their police and their foreign policies and the local policies is crazy. The kind of policy the Democrat Party is dishing out is mad.
It's affecting the country.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's affecting the country. It's affecting Africa.
And affecting the world in general.
It's really affecting Africa because, I started going into international politics and American politics in 2011.
Yes.
Two significant things happened in Africa. Two things happened in Africa.
Which is?
What happened that time is they killed Gaddafi.
Yes.
That is one. And during that time, 2011, Yar'Adua was the president of Nigeria at that time. Jonathan taking over, right? And they wanted to remove the presidency. They didn't want to give it to Jonathan. Something happened. Some people skipped strong before they give it to Jonathan.
Yes.
Then in 2015, somebody, I think, you will say CIA is supposed to know everything.
Yes.
He's supposed to know that. He's supposed to say that CIA is all knowing. They have all intelligence. They are smart. They're supposed to know everything. How the hell will CIA or American president having CIA support Mohammed Buhari against Jonathan?
You see, these people.
Not to give you an example, with the intelligence of America, if America actually wants Africa to
deep,
they will not support Buhari.
Yes.
This is one. This one now is America. And the UK Prime Minister, Emmanuel Cameron. Cameron was the then Prime Minister of
United Kingdom.
In 2015. These both countries supported Mohammed Buhari. That's Barack Obama and Emmanuel Cameron supporting Mohammed Buhari. I said, no, this wouldn't mean what for me.
Yes. Yes, I agree with you. See, honestly,
that time, if Obama is standing here, I'm standing there.
Yes.
So now Obama support, I support opposite.
Yes, you're right. I'd see that is what that is ultimately these people they don't have the rights. They didn't come to our nations with the right mindset.
Yeah,
they came with their interests. And anyone who has the nation or their people at heart, they are against the people. They are against such people. Anyone, if you want to implement any system that has your people at heart, they are against it.
Yeah.
Because once you have your people at heart, their interests are not going to be propagated. America are going to lose this interest in your country. Once they see that you are that threat, you are not going to be supported. You are going to be eliminated. They are going to support a party, a people, or someone who is their ally against you. Someone, they don't care whatever the person, as long as the person serves their interest.
Yeah.
That is what Africans need to sit down again, especially these people who are ruling us now. They are not going to do it because most of them, they schooled there. They are their people. They stayed there. They have families there. They have businesses outside. So whatever we do at this moment is going to be difficult for us to come in terms with our people, our leaders now. But we have opportunity as young people, as long as now we are learning, and we are unlearning a lot of things now. We are unlearning a lot of things that we were taught, and we realize that these things that we were taught were wrong. We need to start unlearning and start looking for a system that serves us better. Are we going to allow these people, or are we going to allow these policies to continue? As long as this policy is continuing, there are going to be a lot of African immigrants across the world. They are going to run away from their country because the things or the policies that are being propagated in their nations are not serving them at all. They are serving individuals.
They are being lobbied to push those.
They are being lobbied by people of interest, persons of interest. These are the persons of interest you've mentioned. And it doesn't matter who comes into power in the West. The West are always going to be propagating their interest. How many resources are being used in the West that comes from us? They know that if Gaddafi is going to rule a nation, their interest is not going to be safeguarded. Their interests are going to be taken away from them. Yes. So what do? They need to get rid of this person. If they get rid of this person, they bring in a puppet who is going to serve their interests. Regardless, they don't care whether the people suffer or not. You understand? Yes. So as Africans, young Africans like us, what we need to do is, are we going to allow this kind of system to continue? If democracy is something which is not helping us, or even if we are going to go with democracy, there is some aspect of democracy. For example, United Kingdom, they have some sort of democracy, but they still practice monarch system, right? But they call themselves Democrats. They have monarch and they still practice democracy. So these kind of systems, we also need to sit down, look at what serves us better. If we are going to practice democracy, we need to bring in some elements.
It is happening in the UK. I cannot call it democracy because of how everybody people if you want to tweet, right, if you want to post some ads now, you need to be very, very careful what you post.
Yeah. Yes. Right.
Is that democracy?
Like I said initially, democracy in itself as a concept has never existed at all. People don't have the right to say anything they want at all. It doesn't. It's just some illusion that has been created.
Yeah.
But some aspect of it which we are being practicing, like go out and vote and elect your leaders, elect who you want. These kind of things. Is it going to serve us? Like, are we just going to sit down, elect some lame duck person who is being sponsored by someone who you sit back and you don't know who the person is? You sit down, you don't interrogate their policies. Is their policy a nation-centered? Or their policy is just someone's opinion, someone trying to bring up some things that is going to serve himself? If you sit down and do this analysis, like critically with your critical analysis, analyze these things. Is this policy something that we can vouch for in the long term? If it's not going to help us as a young man grow as young people now, we need to sit down and start looking at these things again. We are going to get to a point where we are going to be in leadership. When we get there, things that we've learned now, we need to start implementing them. Start sitting down and looking at the democratic system again. If you come to UAE now, they have council. They have established council which elects their leaders. Yeah. Do we want to go to that tangent? Are we going to sit down, find councils which are going to elect our leaders for us? Are we going to, when we do this, we have a nation-centered policy. This nation-centered policy is going to serve its people. You know, if we have this strong system, the West has very little to, to infiltrate in our system. But if we are not going to do that and allow this to keep going on, we are always going to get people to be interfering in our policies, to be interfering in our affairs, and they are going to be bringing up, if you come to UAE, there are Americans here, they are the ones running their military. They are the ones operating their military. They have military bases, but they are not interfering in their local affairs. Why? Because they've established this. They know that this is what serves them right.
Ask that question. Do you think that UAE government or this GCC government is doing something in the back, like, take this, like they say in Africa, they say we pay dues. Right?
Yes, so it is
still falling back, something like that.
They don't pay anything. It's from the beginning. It's the roots they've set for themselves. Like from the beginning, this is what the standard they set for themselves, that we are going to be leaders of conscience. We are going to be leaders of conscience, leaders who think of our people. So this is the system we've set for ourselves. Yeah. This is the system of governance we believe is serving our people. And actually, the end result justifies the means. The result is the people in the country are happy. The system is serving them. So there is no propagation. In every system, if the West or any infiltrator finds a very slight, how do you call it? A very little, maybe error in the system, this is where they capitalize. Weakness in the system, they capitalize on it. So if you come to Africa, they know that the people of Africa, the system is very polarized. There is very little, standard of living is down. So they have the opportunity, they take the advantage to start sponsoring people, these kind of rebels, start sponsoring parties. But if you come here, their system has been serving them properly. So it's very difficult to find, loopholes to start, exploiting. They cannot exploit the system because the system is serving the people and the people are happy with their governance. That's all. Very simple as that. If we young people are going to sit down and start analyzing the democratic system again, look for a system that will serve us properly. Once we get this system, find the nation policy, the nation policy system that serves the nation, the people. If we get this system, find the things that serve the people, we start implementing it. If you get to leadership, you start implementing these ideas. You understand? The leaders, we need to forget about them. At the moment, there is nothing is going to change because they have cronies and, in the West. So as we are educating ourselves now, I know in future, we are also going to go to the West and see how things are going to go. When you go there, the things that you are learning now, you should not, as a matter of principle, you should not get there and start changing your mind. It should actually motivate you to start learning and know how things are run. When you come to your country and you start taking leadership, you know that this is what we've learned. This is what is going to help us. We need to take this route. Simple.
Yeah, I asked this question because I thought seriously. This thing, politics is politics is a game of what will favor us. It's a game of what do you have for me?
Yes.
If I'm going to support this project in your state, how can you help me sponsor this bill, sponsor this project,
right?
Something like that.
Right.
That is the kind of politics we practice in Africa. There is always room for lobby. Everything is lobby.
Right.
We are going to lobby this. Yes. I want to pass this bill. I want to bring this bill in the house.
Right.
You guys should help me.
Right.
So there is always room for
people. Yes.
Everything they are doing.
Yes. Yes.
And that I don't like.
Yes.
Now, I don't say I don't like politics. I don't like democracy because I will not like a country where I will do this podcast finish
and somebody. Right.
But I don't also like a system or country where there's always room to bribe it. Every single thing they are doing in the government.
Yes.
Every single thing they are doing in the government, there is always room
for bribe. Yes. This thing happened because, like I'm saying, there is no streamline of national policy.
Yeah.
The streamline of national policy is not there. So whoever comes to power, the person is coming with a completely different ideology. So if you are going to stand for any political, power, you have people who are going to back you, and these people are going to actually finance your campaign, whatever. And these people have interest. They have interest. Like, I'm going to help you to come to power. When you come to power, you need to do A, B, C, D for me. As long as there is no streamline in national policy, these things are definitely going to happen. So the first standing point, the first baseline is we need to establish what policy or what national policy helps us, which kind of system helps us. Once we establish this clearly or very clearly, we know the road we are going to go. This is our route. This is our national, this is the way we are going to go. Once we have this system clear, there is no, it's not possible that someone will start, because the national policy is clearly streamlined. Everything is properly documented. We know this is the road we are going to go as a nation. So whoever is coming into power, the person is coming into power with the same ideology. The only thing is how we are going to go about it will differ, right? Because we are not going to have the same opinion. So how you want to go and arrive to this destination is different. How you also wants to arrive to this destination is also going to be different. Simple.
I want to ask you to the question that we're not just try to see how you do it. So yeah, I want to ask you now. I also make my question clear so that the US, African, as an African,
right,
looking at American foreign policy. If you want to support a candidate, Kamala Harris or Donald Trump, because of their foreign policies, it affects you as an African. How would you support?
Well, to begin with, I subscribe to Donald Trump's ideology. I subscribe to his ideology more than Kamala Harris, even though I believe both of them have the same, they are not different. They are different, but they are different in characters, but they are not different in baseline policies. But I subscribe to Donald Trump more. For example, let me give you an example. If a Democrat is coming to Africa, for Kamala Harris came to Africa and all, what are they coming to do? Their whole issue is they are going to sponsor, human rights, human rights infringements. These are the things she's interested in. She's not interested in the development of Africa.
Yes.
Look at when Donald Trump was in power. He never interfered in these kind of things in Africa. He does not care. No, he does not care. Your issue about your country is on you, right? He will not come and be giving out monies to African countries to be propagating human rights bullshit, like things that does not make sense. Issue about LGBTQ and these things. These are things that Democrats are subscribing to, and they actually come to Africa, and this is their actual policy for us. It's not our policy. It is not even part of our culture in the first place. You understand? So I vehemently oppose to this policy completely, which I don't subscribe to. So on the basis of that, I actually prefer Donald Trump because of that mindset. You understand? But as to who is going to serve us right, I don't see any of them serving us right. I see us serving ourselves right. We need to look at ourselves first. But in the terms of America and their foreign policies, I think I will subscribe to Donald Trump more because he doesn't interfere in this kind of petty things. You understand? Yes.
Okay. If you ask me, I would say the Democrats' policy is to my own detriment. And looking at Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, I think Donald Trump don't care about me, and that is good for me.
Of course.
You understand? It will give me room
to think for yourself. Yes.
I don't want any help. I don't want any handout from anybody.
Yes.
So all those who are going to bring out 10 billion for Africa
to do this, no,
we don't need it. So, and that is more of the thing Democrats is going to do to use backdoor with their money
to be lobbying these things. Yes.
So I don't want that. That is one. The second question is, based on history, what America have done, do you think that if Russia do not have nuclear weapon, Russia will exist today?
Actually, Russia would have been wiped out a long time ago.
If they don't have
And even as at now, they still wish they could. They really wish they could.
Yeah.
The only thing is, it's not possible.
Yes.
Russia is not defeated. They cannot defeat Russia.
Yeah.
They wish they could defeat Russia, but basically Russia cannot be defeated, and they cannot be defeated not because of anything, because of their history, and they've always stand at the right side of history, Russians.
Yeah.
They've always stand, even, regardless of the propaganda that has gone on, for so many years, the things that they've propagated against them, they are always the enemies. But they are actually the right people. They are our friends. I see them. I don't see them as my enemy.
Yeah.
You understand? So for Russia, if Russia does not have this, if they don't wield this power, they would have been wiped out on this earth. And they wish they could do that, but just that it's not possible.
And CNN will play one story to cover it up.
Yes, these guys,
Fox News.
Even their captions, how they put their captions, it's very funny. Sometimes I read CNN news on CNN, of course, but these are dumb. Like, they are dumb people. People who do not think are the ones who read these stories and accept it. If you are someone who thinks, once you read the caption, you should know where they are, you should know where they're coming from. First of all, I don't even subscribe. Like, I don't understand how people see, people believe anything they see in the first place.
There's the way this media work. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to believe whatever you will see the news. You don't have to believe it. If you go to bank, if you go to every big office, they're watching CNN.
Yes.
If you go to anywhere, everybody, they are saying this now, like in America right now, like podcast is taking over.
Yes.
But I don't think I'm judging because of where I am. Every office you enter, you will see CNN. Everywhere you enter, you will see CNN. And that is what they have. That is what they will be talking about.
Yes.
They said Russia have dropped the bomb there. When did you see it?
It's not there.
It might be true, it might not be true. But there are people that don't have time to research. But they will just come in the restaurant to take coffee. They will see that news.
Yes. In this world, actually, our biggest problem is this media. They are the people who set the agenda. They are the people who sensitize people. They sensitize the system. They are the people who churn out which information you need to listen to. Yeah. So this CNN, BBC, these guys, they are experts. They are being sponsored by people, and they know which information needs to go out and which information does not. They need to confiscate this information. And even the information that needs to go out, for example, if a bomb drops here, how the information is going to go out needs to be checked. The wording of the information needs to be checked. The wording, how the information should be checked. Even if you see this as a fact, they will not propagate it as a fact. They will make it look like, allegedly, or they will, they can put a system like it seemed a bomb dropped. It's clearly the bomb dropped, right? Yeah. But they are not going to put it. The wording they are going to put it is going to sensitize people's minds like it might not be even true. These are the people who actually sensitize people.
So, something like this. If you open CNN, see the Russian war on Ukraine.
Yes.
This is the headline of Russian war on Ukraine. And we see Israel and Hamas war.
Yes. Yes.
When I see something like this, I will start laughing. Yeah, we know the game you guys are playing. We know what you guys are doing. But I don't think people are this dumb.
Yeah. But a lot of people are dumb. They know their target audience. They know their target. They know the people they are communicating to. They know that a lot of people are dumb, that they don't have the time to interrogate issues. For example, if I read informations, like for me, I like reading informations from them. Yeah. I like reading CNN, BBC. I like reading informations from them. Once I read, I open the news file. I start reading the wording, how they even put the wordings. I know these guys are propagating something. Yeah. You understand? So I want to listen to their side, listen to the opposite side. Once you do that, start putting it into your conscience. You also have brains. You need to start processing the information. You know, if some information is not is something which is deliberate, you know, to achieve some goal, you should also be able to capture that. But the point is, these people, they know their target audience. They know a lot of people. They know a lot of people are dumb, and they know that these are the kind of informations. And you know, there is a saying that consistent saying of lie becomes truth.
Yeah.
You know, so the consistency saying of Ukraine, Russia war on Ukraine. Once they start saying this consistently, it starts
every time.
Yes. So it's a propagation, it's a programming. They propagate this information. So you keep processing the information in your mind until it gets to where it becomes truth. So they have their target audience. They know the kind of people they want to communicate to. And they've been doing this consistently, and people fail to understand that these people are your enemies. They are not giving you any right information. You need to start looking for information on your own. Start rethinking about things on your own. You know, you need to unlearn a lot of things you've been taught. The things you've been listening to, you need to start reprocessing them again and realize that these people are actually giving you false information and making them look truth. You know, then people that you think are your enemies are actually your friends. They are your friends. The people who these people think they should be your enemies, you never know these people are actually your friends. How do you know that? You need to start reprocessing the information again.
I think one of the best things that is happening this time is podcast.
Yes.
I think that is one of the best things that's happening.
Of course, that is why they want to. Don't you know that quite recently, they're actually trying to, restrict informations of this nature. For example, they want to ban TikTok in US and all these things. Why?
Let them ban it then. It's okay, but I don't think they can.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they can say because of with X now.
Yes. Right.
Just leave TikTok.
Right.
If we remove TikTok, X is there.
Right. The reason why they want to do this is to control the narrative, right? They want to control it. They know that BBC is going to give this narrative, but there are people who are on X, who are on TikTok, who are also going to propagate a different narrative. And they are good. You know, people actually get a lot of information from these platforms. Recently, I heard, the owner of Telegram was arrested in France, right? Why did they arrest him? His platform is used to propagate some information which you will not find on BBC, you will not find on CNN. And people are going on these platforms and fetching information. So what do? They now start changing the narrative. Like, these platforms are being used for illegal stuff. This platform are being, they start raising this kind of weird narrative to nail you. But they cannot do anything about it. Now information is all over the place. People are actually learning a lot of things. People are consuming information. And people, what I'm going to add is, once you are consuming this information, you need to have the capacity to process the information on your own, right? Process the information on your own. Every single information you see, every line of every information, you need to process that line properly. Analyze the information carefully, and you start fishing out, the malwares in the informations. There are a lot of malwares in every information that is being churned out. So once you start processing it through your mind, you start fishing out these malwares from the information, and you realize that what they are saying is not the right thing. There might be some item of truth, but if you use the truth to change the subject, right?
Let's try to round up becoming for this. Let me ask my this last question. Okay, my own opinion on that person I asked you, do you think Russia, if Russia don't have nuclear weapon, do you think Russia will still exist? Okay, my own opinion is, I'm saying this because of American history, how they like to invade, and their media mission will cover everything.
Yeah.
And I also see some news, they say that they want to do some thoughts of the nuclearizing nuclear bomb or atomic bomb, whatever it is a very powerful weapon.
Right.
Russia can go into the talks of denuclearizing. They can go into it as long as life exists, but they should not do it.
Russia will not.
Because the people around you, America, I do not trust. And I can never trust them because I'm judging from their history.
Of course, let me just add one thing. Russia will not, because Russia know that America is not coming from a genuine point of view. In the first place, America is the first country that dropped a nuclear weapon on Earth.
And they're the only.
Of course, they are the ones who did that in the first place. Yes. So the policy of denuclearization started from them. Why are they not doing it?
Mm-hmm.
Russia, they think more smarter.
No, I'm not. Yes. What I think is, as an African, do you think that an African who is born and raised in Africa that have not been to the Western world is capable of misogynistic?
Okay, so to be honest, an African, a typical African, is not misogynistic at all, right?
Yeah.
But we are very masculine.
Yeah.
Like a natural African is very masculine.
Yeah.
You understand? What I know is the fact that every African is someone who defends his home. You know, we have that instinct to defend our home.
Yeah.
Every African has that instinct. Unless until the person moves into the West, that the person start looking at this information where the mindset start changing.
Mm.
But if you go to Africa now, why do you think the issue about LGBTQ and all these things is not being, they are trying so hard to bring it to Africa, but it's not like the sensitization is not going down well, because the average African is not going down well. The average African is a very masculine guy. Is a very masculine. Every average African guy understands the basic principle of family values. We know family values. Like proper family values. Every African, even the females in Africa, acknowledge the masculine parts and acknowledge the feminine parts. They know their boundaries. We know our boundaries. This is a masculine side and this is a feminine. So an African man is not misogynist at all, but we are very masculine and we stand for our rights. We stand for what we believe in. And I believe that is actually the best thing. If you go to Africa, you cannot lure an African who is in Africa to do something that goes against their culture. You understand?
Yeah.
Yes. Unless that is why they are trying so hard now to try to sensitize these people from the base to do things that are...
They will use the word we are going to educate them.
That's bullshit. Completely, that's bullshit. In my country, last 2017, they started something. It was actually shut down. This sensitization issue, they started something called, what do you call it? An issue about sexual education.
Mm.
So what they do is they started with the little ones, right? The people who are very vulnerable.
So you get about
sexual life. They call it something. So what they are going to do is they are going to start sensitizing them about the diverse nature of sexual education, how, a man can also be in love with, what they do is they start with these people, these young ones. And as long as you're starting with this is what they grow with. Yes. So if they grow with this kind of mindset and they get to a point, it becomes the norm, because he has been taught from the beginning that, it's normal for a woman to sometimes you can grow as a woman, but you start feeling for, this kind of mindset. But the people in Africa did not allow it. They shut that down.
14-year-old kid will come back and tell you one day I don't feel like a man.
Yes. And it starts from the school.
Yeah. Because of just what I feel. Maybe the kid might just be a bit confused growing up.
Yes.
We can be confused.
Of course.
And because of what the person is taught in school, just like somebody from the UK discovered a divide.
Right.
Somebody from UK discovered in
right.
Seriously, he was taught in school. I'm sure it's still being taught in
India.
Somebody came from UK and discovered a river that my ancestors but and what they're trying to do now is to start teaching kids
about this. Yes.
So the confusion I grew up with, that a white man discovered a river, that baby we grew up with
the same.
Don't feel like
yes.
Don't think of that.
So as a parent, on this topic, the last thing I'll say is, as a parent, you have a responsibility on you. Even though the kids spend lots of time in school, you have a responsibility on you to tell your kids one thing. Even though you are going to be taught a lot of things in school, but you should get in mind at the kid, you will need to always tell this kid, you need to understand that since you're going to school, they are going to teach you a lot of things. Sometimes the things that they are going to teach you in school is completely sharp contrast to what I as a parent tells you at home. But you should understand that your parents are the best teachers you can ever have, not what they teach you in school. It's because they are going to teach you about sexual. If you come home, I'm going to tell you that's not right. Yeah. You need to listen to me first. So you need to put this sensitization in your kid from the birth.
This is school.
Of course.
It will come back from school. what they taught in school is not.
Yes. So once you need to start sensitizing as a parent, you need to sensitize the child from the beginning that what they teach you in school is not. You need to know that there is no better teacher than your parents.
Okay. See this statement. This is my closest statement, right? In Nigeria, there are professors, an academic professor, and this person taught at school that a white man discovered
a river.
Yeah, in Nigeria. Nigeria was discovered by a white. Right? And people that are teaching us this thing that A is fine.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
People that confused us, most of them right now are professors.
Right.
English professors. People that could not stay and the reason. People that could not, come out with their own sensible ideas, something that they sat and take seriously and come up with. No, I don't think
this is right. They didn't challenge the status. They went along with it.
These people now, professors, and
they are the ones sensitizing the kids now.
And these people, you cannot challenge them because they are professors.
Yeah.
You cannot tell them that, but this thing, white men, they always live for a time you guys did this and did that, did this. It's just crazy. All right. Thank you. I have to say thank you for taking your time to be.
Yes. It's a pleasure.
Yeah. So our topic today is deliberating. We're having an open conversation. You can go to the comment section and say, this is what I think we should do. Yeah, he's not saying that democracy in Africa is not working.
Of course not.
The way they are using it is not working. So this is what we're doing. And he's not saying that monarch system is where we should go. I'm not saying that military system is where it should go, but there are things that we are looking at that need us to be asking all these questions. I like the idea of saying everything I want to say and go outside and I will not get arrested because you understand. So this is why we talked about military system, monarch system, and the democratic system. So we've come to the end of our podcast today. You would like this section? Comment. We need you to comment. We need you to put your own opinion, please. It is called opinion. An opinion, is like an asshole. Everybody is
entitled to, of course.
Do not insult anybody. Just go and put your own opinion there. Argue it, challenge my points, challenge his view, whatever you want to do it there. Thank you. I'll see you next time.
Yeah.